Ron. Hey, Ron. Hello, Ron. Hey, Alicia.
Oh, there I am. Hi.
There you are. Hooray. We got others getting in with us here. We're approaching 6:30. Good evening.
Not using good.
You're not using good?
manners. I'm eating my dessert.
Well, you have enough to share with all of us, Ron?
Yeah.
So we're gathering here tonight. I see Diane coming to join us. Yep. Who's that on the iPhone there? Good evening. I'm Harland.
Hello.
Hey, Diane.
Hey, how's everybody?
We're getting there, Ron.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Diane.
Who is this?
Alicia.
Hey, Alicia, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Chris.
Ah, that's who that is there. Good. And Masood's coming on with us.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Good.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey,
Mrs.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year.
and to
Happy
you.
New Year.
Yeah, really. Happy New Year.
It is that. It's almost a week into it already, isn't it? I mean, we're moving right along.
I know the way it fell over the weekend, it's deceiving, you know.
That's right. Here comes Richard and Claudette. Hooray. We lost
Hello.
Chris there for a while. Good evening.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Claudette.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Hey. The party's over, though.
It was
No,
so
you're wrong. The party has just begun.
There
Oh,
you go.
yeah, the new party, the next party. Yeah.
That's right.
Oof. Today you could tell the party was over. People wanting everything. Oh, man. And they were cranky, too. There's a lot of cranky people today. I don't know.
Like,
Well, you meet more of them on this call tonight. We'll see.
Yeah.
yeah. None of them here.
Which way do you crank, clockwise or counterclockwise?
Mm. Wipe on, wipe off.
There you
What
go.
else we
Here
got
comes
here?
welcome. Is it Gilberto or Gilberto? Good evening. Welcome. All right. So we have reached 6:30, 6:31, and we'll be gathering for a bit here as we get going. Thank you for joining us on this first meeting of West Volusia Real Estate Investors. We're a group that doesn't belong to other groups as a formal function. Many of us do individually belong other places, but those of us that are in West Volusia are just here. There's no cost to be a part of this. We do have a Facebook group that has a little over 600 members in it, and folks post all kinds of things there when they have properties available or questions that they have about things, and we encourage you to use that. We meet on the first Monday night of the month at 6:30. As of this month, it also is the same time as the Osceola meeting, and a good friend of ours, Tom McNamara, is doing the Osceola meeting with CFRI tonight on Zoom as well. They're not?
No, I got a notice today. They must have changed it again. The Lake County meeting is tonight.
Okay.
And he's next week at his regular time. So they must have done
Okay.
some rearranging.
Yep, with a new board in, they made some other decisions there. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We also meet on the third Saturday of each month and are looking forward to that here in January. What's the date of that, Diane? Do you have that handy, or maybe
The 16th.
the
It is the
16th?
16th.
And we normally meet at 9 o'clock by Zoom and take about an hour there. We meet about an hour and a half on the Monday night here. And welcome to others that have joined us. we are not attorneys. We are not accountants, although some of us may be. But this is not legal or financial or accounting advice. It is simply informational, educational that we do each month together. And we encourage those that take some of this information to take it on to the professionals they work with on their team so they can get that kind of counsel, because we're not that. We're just educational and informational. We do have a second function, and we'll jump into that in just a few minutes here. And that is that we like to build relationships with each other. In addition to the actionable information that we get on this one and our Saturday one, we really enjoy getting to know each other, and we've begun to work with each other on a variety of things, partner up on some things, call each other in between meetings to ask a question and get some counsel. So we take some time in each of the Monday night meetings to talk with each other and to get to know each other better. Let me just see if anybody else on the team tonight has something they'd like to share as we get started here this evening. Any other information we want to share?
I just want to, oops, hang on, let me change this one. I'm
Okay.
on 2 different cameras tonight. So I just wanted to tell everyone that not to be bashful this year about getting together and doing deals together. That should be really on the forefront of everyone's mind, since everything's been retail sales. Maybe that could help assisting more houses. We have over 600 oh gosh, people in this place that we can actually, you know, just partner with. So that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah, and just asking questions, which many are doing, Claudette, and you know, who's a good attorney, who's a good accountant, who's a good inspector, who's got a plumber in Volusia County, who has an electrician you work with, what's the price of lumber these days, whatever. Share information with each other.
Who's got a good property manager?
Who has a good property manager? There's a great question, Richard. We'll have to see if anybody knows of anybody.
I would say Richard.
Okay.
Thank you, Ron.
Richard, yeah, we could all be more proactive in using our Facebook site. We probably don't ask questions enough and interact as much as we could.
Yeah,
So
it's a
let's
great
keep that in
resource.
mind. It's a great resource with over 600 people on it now.
And we saw almost 200 that took a look at something today on that site. There's a good amount of at least eyeballs coming up on it, awareness that is there if you have a question to get some to address it. So Diane, could you take us into our piece here where we just want to spend some time with each other? I'll get ready to do a breakout.
I will. Okay, so we're going to break into small groups. We have a couple of questions that we want to pick your brains about. Harlan is going to put us in the groups. The questions that we have, the first one is, what did you learn from last year? And our second one is, what are your objectives for this year?
Yeah, and that one, what did you learn from 2020? That's, to me, I hope we spend a little more time personally. We may have learned something about real estate, but I learned some things about myself. I learned some things about what I thought that I don't think anymore. I think it'd be fascinating to have that kind of conversation tonight. What do you think, Diane?
I agree. I think that, you know, a lot of things came out of it in unexpected ways and that were surprising to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing everybody has something.
Good. So we're going to break into groups of 4 or 5. And we will take, let me just see if I've got a time on this. How much time we're going to spend? We're going to spend 10 minutes. So we got about 10 minutes to spend in the groups. There'll be a countdown timer at 60 seconds to let you know we're about ready to come back to the larger one, where we'll introduce Amy and get into our program tonight. So I'm opening up all the rooms right now. Hey, Laura, I'm putting you in a breakout room right now. We're breaking out and going into rooms to just get to know each other a little bit better.
Thank you. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
No
They put me in two
worries.
groups.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh,
So-
you're special then.
Yeah. I've got two computers going because I had to do the PowerPoint before Amy's presentation. So I wanted to see what it looked like if I played it and I wasn't controlling it. So
Gotcha.
like trying to manage two computer systems.
You're doing good.
So yeah, so we moved to Idaho back in August.
The
And
potato state.
we had to, yeah. Yes, you need to come visit us. You need to come visit us. Yes.
If I'm ever in Idaho,
my
I
mom
will.
needed some. Yes, please do. My mom needed some help, and my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, she's ill. My sister's ill, and she just got remarried, and so we kind of needed to make some major decisions about that, and we couldn't put her. She didn't want to go into a nursing home or anything. Assisted living care, and to
Claudette,
keep her in her own home. So, yeah,
Oh, I'm
that's why we
sorry to hear
decided to
that.
do that.
I'm sorry to hear that they're not feeling well. Is it something that will be okay in the long run, or?
My sister, yes. My sister-in-law, probably no.
Oh,
There's been a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
issues going on, and yeah, thank you. But anyways, let's get going with these questions so that way
Claudette,
we can.
Claudette, what are
Hey,
you grateful for in 2020?
what am I grateful for?
Yeah.
I am grateful for being here with my mom during the COVID situation. I'm grateful for all of you allowing me to maintain my relationships with you guys in Florida, because I miss my Florida family, especially my real estate Florida family. So that's what I'm grateful for. What about you?
Me? I'm
Yeah.
grateful I'm healthy throughout the whole
Yes, we're
past
grateful
year.
you're healthy too.
I'm
Yeah.
grateful that my family and I got along and didn't throw me out.
Oh, that's funny, Richard.
I love it.
I mean, it's been a very
Richard,
trying year.
you're always good for a smile.
Yeah. It's been a very trying year because I work at home and my wife works at home, but she has a cottage, so she can go off, get out of the way of things. And then I got 5 cats to deal with. So it's been a fun year in that respect. And when I get, crazy, I meditate and I go out on my property and just, fiddle around, have some fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So what I learned this year is patience.
Ah, that's a good one, Richard. Yep.
Word for the year.
Yep. I'm going to scoot out of the small group here and let some more people into the larger one here. So carry on.
Okay.
Thanks,
All
Harlan.
right. Well, let's start with the first question.
And we are back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hooray, hooray. Thank you for making that time for each other and getting to know each other a little bit better. How did that go?
Good.
Well,
Well, good.
Good,
Awesome.
Good. So you
good, yeah.
speaking up and down. That's one of the parts of who we are, is to build community among ourselves over here in the West Volusia area and expanding out into some other counties nearby, as well as getting some wonderful information. And Claudette, tell us who's on tonight and what we're going to learn.
Absolutely. Well, this amazing lady has had such a journey to get to this part of her life, and she has earned every bit of it because she has done 30 plus years of travel and tourism in sales and marketing, communications leader at Disney and AAA, that's the American Automobile Association, Air New Zealand, Holland America line, the Holland America line, which is the cruise, and the Seabourn Cruises. In addition to that, in 2018, she became an entrepreneur. She took that risk. And in 2020, she went full-time as a realtor, where she exceeded her goals from going from transactions in 2019 to 15 in 2020. Also, along with as a real estate investor, she's also a longtime real estate investor with rental property in California for over 35 years. She was born in Los Angeles, California, and as the first American born in her family, her family immigrated from Okinawa, Japan after World War II. She's a mom to a high school senior, a lacrosse player at Seminole High School, and she's a community leader who volunteers her time as a business advisory board member for the Seminole County Public School Board. She's a board member with the National Association Asian American Professionals, NAAAP. She's a leader for teen girls with Young Life and the Seminole High School team photographer. She's an endurance athlete who successfully finished in 5 70.3 Ironman triathlons, full and half marathons, and looking to do her first ultra race in the near future, and has started her journey in 2021 as a whole food, plant-based vegan. Let's welcome Amy Akamine.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I am looking forward to providing this presentation, and really Claudette and Harlan, Diane, Ron, thank you for this opportunity to speak to your wonderful group. I know all of you from being a PAC alumni. So for those of you who are in PAC, Augie, I'm a fan of Augie as well. So really my goal here today is to talk about annual plans and about success in 2021. So I think, Harlan, what I'll do is take over and go to my screen here, and I'm going to share. Okay, I think we are good. So I just want to make sure we can see the first slide, Harlan.
Yes, we can. And while they're getting ready to listen to what you're saying tonight, if they'll mute themselves and use the chat box as a place to ask questions or make comments, and we'll have somebody monitoring that. And when you finish up tonight, Amy, those questions will get up so they can jot them in the chat while they're fresh, and we'll pick them up later.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, great. So again, success in 2021 and in any year starts with a plan. So as you can see by this quote from Benjamin Franklin, by failing to prepare, you prepare to fail. So what I want to do first is to just walk through an acronym. Again, what Claudette had shared was, last year I was really my first full year transitioning from, a W-2 corporate leader and, some of the biggest companies in travel and tourism into becoming an entrepreneur. And it was definitely a trial and tribulation trip the last 2 years.
Amy,
Going-
excuse me. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm not seeing your screen. I just see 2 pictures of you, and I'm getting the same thing in the chat box. Harlan, can you check to see?
Amy, why don't you try sharing your screen again on the one that you want there? We're just not picking up the one that had the Ben Franklin quote on it.
Okay. So let me try it
I'm
again.
sorry for interrupting, but
No, that's okay.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay. Let's see. Sharing window. Okay, I think. Try this one. Can you see that one?
Not quite yet.
it says Amy has started screen sharing.
And it says double click to enter full screen mode.
Yeah, it's just, it's loading.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So let me know.
I'll let you know as things change on that, Amy. Why don't you go ahead and either work on that or keep talking to us here, either way.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm just wanting to make sure that you see the screen because
Keep doing that. So
okay, hold on, let me just go here. Try this one.
for some reason, we are not getting it.
Okay, let me try another one. Hold on. Sharing window. And share computer sound, optimize screen share for video. No, okay, so I just have to click there. And I hit share.
And we're getting a message here. Amy Akamine has started sharing screen sharing. Double click to enter full screen mode. That's what we're seeing.
So am I to double click?
I guess so. Try that.
Okay.
Nope, it knocked you out.
Okay, hold on, because it worked today. Let's see.
Yes, it did. We today because we had a bad experience last month. My fault.
Well, that's all right. So sharing window. And then I'm going to hit share. You are sharing screen.
And it says you're sharing here, but we're not seeing anything. There we go. Now we're there. Plants. Plan learning
Yes.
study network tools.
It's there.
We're good.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me do my little.
Yay.
Okay, good. All right. So this is, and hopefully it's going to click through. So, so this is really my acronym. And as you had heard Claudette mention to you that I'm on my journey of becoming a whole food, plant-based vegan. And because one of my lifetime goals is to become a centenarian, so 100 plus. So at this point, I've got about 40 years to get there. So the way I'm going to get there is by eating a lot of plants. So my acronym is based on plants. And as you can see, as the secret to my success, what I did was really focus on building a plan, learning, accountability, networking, tools, and to serve. So I'm going to quickly go through each of these, and then I'll go back to the plan, which is what really the purpose of our call is today. So can you see the next slide, everyone? Plan? Yes. Okay, good. All right. So plan. It all starts with the plan. And I think if you hopefully saw my Ben Franklin side, that you really need to plan in order to prepare to plan, or otherwise you, plan on failing. So the goal is to really put your annual goals that focus on not only your financial goals, but professional goals and personal goals. These goals should be built on the SMART, plan. So again, for those of you who have built plans in the past, it's not going to be anything new, but for those of you who are not familiar, my hope and my goal is to make the SMART, the terminology SMART, be something that you're familiar with. And also really look at not only doing an annual plan, but also look at projecting out 10 years, looking at 10-year goals, because that's really a great way to continue to put maybe a common thread or theme throughout, between now and, the next 10 years going now it's 2031. So the L is to learn. So what I did is I really focused in last year on learning. So, and what I think is really critical for you, whether it's, in real estate, whether again, from a personal perspective, what do you want to learn how to do? As we were talking about in our breakout sessions of, what did you learn from 2020? And one of the things I said was, being adaptable and, because there's things that were out of our control. Well, one of the things I did is I really, hunkered down because, we had some time on our hands, but I really, focused in on it. It was part of my plan was to increase my knowledge and awareness around, whether it was a video, YouTube, online social media. So what I did was I took several classes having to do with, my presentation ability to present and ability to have, a good camera setup online, using software programs. So that's what I did is I went really all in on learning, things from not only a personal perspective, but professionally, like taking training classes, earn certifications. It's really a great opportunity, and to really think about what are those certifications, or classes that you can take that will help you on your path to whatever your goal is. So it's a common thread that you need to do as you make your plan in order to achieve your goal. Understand the market. So this was really critical for me, again, transitioning into real estate. What I was able to do is really focus in on, any of the data that I received through, the Orlando Regional, the Realtors Association, taking classes, receiving emails, listening to podcasts, and really learning and understanding the market. Because my objective last year was really, in essence, to increase the number of transactions that I had, going from, hardly any to a couple in 2019 and really, getting as many as I could. So I really needed to make sure that I understood the marketplace. So regardless of where I was and who I was speaking to, I could speak with some authority. So that is really beneficial as you are, moving forward towards your goal. And expand your skills and knowledge. So again, as I had mentioned earlier, I really hunkered down, took advantage of the time, being, in lockdown mode and learning about online communication. So that was really, again, being adaptable, utilizing what I had and making, lemonade out of lemons. And so that the letter L to learn, I think, is very critical for being successful in developing and as well as executing your plan. So another area, accountability. So this is huge in achieving your goals in your plan. It's really helpful because it helps you be accountable, like the word says, but it helps you be accountable to what you write down, in your goals. So it's really critical to find like-minded partner or partners. I actually have 2 accountability partners. I have one I do on a weekly basis, and then I have another one that I do on a monthly basis to check in. And it really keeps me on track, especially my weekly accountability partner, to ensure that I'm doing the tasks that it takes to achieve my goal. And then what I would do on a monthly basis with my monthly accountability partner is to review my business plan. So we would, check in every month and review our plans to make sure that we were on track. So it really is key to have an accountability partner. And I think maybe through this group, you could think about someone that you may want to have an accountability partner with to have that accountability towards your plan. So the N is for network. So it's really, again, successful, critical for you to network. Now, I know, again, it was difficult last year to do it in the traditional way. But I think, again, through what, as you are experiencing now, we are all learning we know all about Zoom now. And really it's, and to think about it as kind of the new way of meeting, because this isn't going to go away, as you know, and a lot of businesses had, basically downsized and basically had people work from home, and that now people are all meeting on Zoom. So, this isn't going to go away. So, how do you adapt and be creative on meeting people? So, but the way that I did do it, and what I did was I made my connections, whether it was through, the Chamber of Commerce. I had joined the Seminole County Chamber Industry Association. So again, I'm part of the National Association of Asian American Professionals. I volunteer with the Seminole County Public Schools and being on their board. I participate in my church. There's clubs and groups that I'm a part of. Being a parent of a high school lacrosse player, I've met friends. My son's friends. So, and local businesses. Really connecting with them. Because obviously local businesses were ones we really needed to support, and so really making those, building those relationships with them there. And then obviously your sphere, or really it's like your close group of people that whether it's family, friends, colleagues, or vendors. Really, that's what I did, is just really key in on relationships, because this business that we're in, real estate, it's all about relationships. So it was really important to ensure that I continued to make those connections in order to ensure that I had the visibility, reminding people of who I was and what I was doing. So the T is for tools. So really looking at the tools, or the tool, like the toolkit, or if you're let's say a carpenter, so what's in your tool belt, what are those tools that you have that can help, either differentiate you in the marketplace, or to enhance who you are and what you do with the business that you're in. So, whether it's, improving or, buying new hardware or software, looking at your CRM systems and how they can increase the number of touches that you make, any other type of equipment, whether it's audio, visual equipment as well. Again, really just focusing on those tools that will help enhance you in your business. And for me, as a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, I really, hunker down and emphasize the proprietary programs that I have available for me, whether it's listing properties or, on talking to buyers about, properties. So I've got, some proprietary tools that really differentiate me as a realtor and really as being a listing agent. So those are some of the things that I really, continue to focus in on and really emphasized in any of my communications as appropriate. So the S in plants is to serve. And this is where, to me, it really is, I really believe in, it's better to give than to receive. And that's something that I really learned last year, of letting go, of my, of things I can't control. One of them being like my finances. I mean, I can, but in many ways I needed to let it go to God and in my relationships. And for me here, it was really important that I started to think about others before I thought about myself. And, and what I did was volunteer time and donated money. And you'll see how I have donated money to worthy causes. And really, when you look at that, it's to look at it and to, give without expectations for anything in return. And I understand, trust me, as you know, and you've heard, I've been in business in the marketplace for 30 years or so. and a lot of times, it's in business, it's, I'll scratch your back and if you scratch mine. So you're looking for something in return. But honestly, especially in this last year, it's just, being kind, and volunteering your time and helping people out, or again, donating money to causes that need, that need the help. And I'm telling you, when you have, and the way I look at it is when you give is you open your hands and you're giving something, which actually is a better way to receive things because you have your hands open versus them being closed and tight. So that's how I look at serving. And again, that was part of one of my secrets to success. And here again, C.S. Lewis says, if you put the first things first, we get the second things thrown in, put second things first, and we lose both the first and second things. So this is really, again, tied into, giving, having hands out open, and you'll be more, adept at getting and receiving more so than what you ever thought for before. So we'll go straight into building your annual plan. So this is really kind of the key way that I look at when I build my plan. These are the three things that I look at doing. I always need to, look at what's my objective, what are the strategies and the tactics that I'm going to do to execute the plan. So again, the objective, what's the overarching goal that you want to accomplish and why? Your strategies, how are you going to achieve your objective? And your tactics. So what are the activities or actions that you'll take to execute your strategies, and when will you do them? So that's really kind of the three basic pieces that I have in my plan, and then I build my plan around that. And of course, like I had mentioned earlier, all plans should always be built around a SMART, they should be SMART plans. So the acronym stands for, the plan should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be attainable, realistic, and time-based. So what I'm going to do is just show you an example of how, you can, build a plan. So here's an example of an objective. And again, you can place whatever else you want in here, but again, I just want to at least show you kind of an example of how does this work. So the objective of the what and why. So in this example is complete 15 real estate transactions, averaging $250,000 to take a 2-week vacation to Hawaii, pay off my HELOC, and buy a new SUV. So it's very specific, and so, you have to put a number in there, what's that amount, and why do you want to achieve it? So when you have something this specific, it's going to really help you focus on what you are doing and what you want to accomplish. Okay, so here we have our objective. So how are we going to achieve our objective? So how am I going to do that? How am I going to hit, 15 transactions at 250? Well, I'm going to, contact, for sale by owners. I'm going to door knock targeted subdivisions. I'm going to market to key zip codes, and I'm going to connect with my sphere. So those are the hows. How am I going to achieve this goal? Okay. So then the next slide will show, so what are your tactics? So how are you going to do those tactics? So, all right, well, what and when? So when I'm contacting the FSBOs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to time block 60 minutes a day and, call a minimum of 6 FSBOs per day for 5 days a week, 5 days per week to secure a minimum of 1 appointment for a total of 4 appointments per month. So that's very specific. Okay. And that's where you need to, that for me, I have to put that down because it helps you stay, again, very focused on what you're trying to accomplish. Door knocking. So again, you're going to door knock on 50 doors per week to secure a minimum of 2 appointments per month. Okay. Marketing. You're going to send a monthly newsletter to 1,000 emails per month. You're going to increase it, by 1,000 emails per month to end the year with 12,000 emails. Okay. And then connecting with your sphere to call or text 5 contacts in my smartphone directory per day to secure a minimum of 1 referral per week. So it's very specific, and it keeps you very focused. And what it does, again, if you keep referring back to your plan, you'll be able to, make adjustments to it, but at least you've got something to look at versus randomly, saying, I'm going to make, contacts this year, or I'm going to, buy, some houses. I'm going to flip some houses. Well, what does that mean? So here I put down, you know, place check-ins on your calendar. So again, like I had mentioned earlier, on a monthly basis with my accountability partner, I reviewed my plan, you know, so reviewed it. And honestly, the good news is, you know, you are the CEO of your life. Okay, so you are the one and that's going to look at this plan and, you know, make adjustments to it. You know, it's okay for you to make adjustments to it, you know, and based on the marketplace, like again, last year, no, who would have thought, you know, what happened. But, and again, when I put this plan together, I put this plan together in January of last year. So what happened? You know, that was totally out of my control, but I still had something to work off of and it kept me focused. So again, so doing your check-ins on a monthly review, have quarterly check-ins. On your quarterly check-ins, that's when you could look at it and look at your plan. Okay, are you on track? You know, what do you need to adjust? And that's where you make your adjustments. But then again, so by the time you get by mid-year, so on a 6-month check-in, you're going to check in and you're going to make adjustments to your plan. So it's really good that's what I do is I gauge it at a 6-month period. Am I on track to achieve my goals? You know, and if I'm not, what do I need to do or adjust, or did the market change? So that, again, looking at it at, you know, at the middle part of the year, that's the time frame to look at making adjustments to your plan. And then for your budgeting. So, and honestly, a lot of this, basically, this is the way that I do my annual plan is how I've done it, you know, and really used it from my, from when I worked at Disney. And this is what I would do every single year is put together these plans and then my budgeting. So for me, I would look at my budget for the next year. It started to look at it in October. So it's really more of like looking at, okay, where are you going to end up the rest of the year with your money, you know, and how did you end up spending your money? You know, where did you move your money? And then now looking at kind of seeing where you're going to forecast for the end of the year, look at that and then make the adjustments to your budget for next year. So really start looking at doing your budget, you know, start thinking about your budgets in October before the end of the year. And then that helps you in developing your 2022 plan. So what I did is I, you know, looked at October, my budget, and then I, by the end of October is when I had my first draft of my 2021 plan. So it gave me an opportunity to look at it, do at least one draft. And then in the next, like November, then I looked at it again and made like adjustments. So by the time I got to December, was pretty much like my final plan. So you give yourself at least a couple months, you know, to really kind of finalize your plan based on, you know, conversations, based on the market, you know, at least you're not at the end of the year struggling, you know, fumbling or like, you know, trying to put a plan together where you haven't stopped and looked and evaluated, you know, what you did, where you're at, and then how do you want to, you know, make adjustments moving forward. So that, and, you know, I mean, that basically was what I did in developing this plan. So again, some other things for you to consider in your plan. And these are things that I do. So again, you could do it, but it's just, again, a way that helped me in being successful. So when I talked in my breakout session was a word of the year. So what I do is I'll take a word that I want to focus in on the year. And I'll really look at that one word and it basically will impact, you know, my entire year and my life. So for example, in 2018, my word of the year was authenticity. So it was based on, you know, things that were happening in my life and what I wanted to do. And again, just if you recall, I transitioned from, you know, W-2 to entrepreneur. And it was really, how can I be, and what popped in my head was authenticity. So I really focused on that for the year. You know, in 2019, my word was discernment. So I really focused on, you know, again, the definition of discernment, the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what's obscure. So that was really something I wanted to do, and I really focused in on it. Last year, my word was commitment. So again, that's a state or an instance of being obligated or emotionally driven. So It really helped me focus. And I think that was such a perfect word, because I did, last year I was really committed to my plan. And that's what I did. And I think that was part of my success. So in 2021, my word of the year is awareness. And again, when we talked about in our breakout session, I think what kind of formulated out of COVID last year was being aware, of change and of adjustments and just everything in general. So that's my word of the year. I would recommend, for you to consider putting a word of the year in your plan. Motivational scriptures, quotes, sayings, that's really good for you. Again, as you review your plan every month, these are really great things for you to look at, to keep you motivated, to keep you moving forward. When you have a bad month, just look at those quotes and scriptures and sayings to keep you on track. An accomplishments letter to yourself. So this was really cool. So I did this with my accountability partner where, and I didn't do it this year, but I did it for next year, for this year, actually 2021. Is that based on my plan that I wrote for this year, I wrote a letter to myself that I'm going to read at the end of this year about all the accomplishments that I did. So what that does is when you do that, you are in a sense speaking your truth, because I believe words are so powerful. And so anything that especially when you say it, you're putting it out there, and your mind is making that connection with what you're saying. So by already projecting what you are going to accomplish is very powerful. So, I would recommend to, sit down and write a letter to yourself that you'll review at December 31st this year and see where you land on your accomplishments. And then what we ended up also doing is a year-end review with my accountability partner. We talked about the things that we accomplished, and we talked about the things that we wanted to let go of this year. And then we did a little ritual where we then took these things that we wanted to let go of, like whether it was, bitterness or judgment or, poor, low self-confidence, whatever it was. And then just burning it, like doing it like a burning ritual of these words. Again, the power of these words I burned them. And that was I'm telling you, it was a very therapeutic process. So there's, again, just some things to consider to do as you look at doing things differently. What's it going to hurt for you to try doing this, for 1 year, see what happens and see what happens at the end of the year. So that is it with regards to, what I just shared with you regarding the plan. I don't know if anyone had any questions or Ron, if you wanted to open it up or.
Yep, there are.
Yes,
there. And Ron, you'll get those, and others just get ready to write them in the chat box. You can unmute yourself as well if there's a blank space in here and ask it directly. So Ron, jump in.
Yeah, one of the questions is, how do we turn Zoom meetings into networking and really connecting with people?
So great question. So this is what's really nice about Zoom. So
Amy,
Zoom.
let me just stop you just a minute. If you'll stop sharing your screen, it won't confuse us.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Your screen has got a real slow motion view on it. It's really nice. Big face.
Oh.
There we go. Thanks.
Okay, so so right now, like with Zoom, you can use Zoom for free and it's up to 40 minutes. And what's worked for me is you can, if it's just you and another person, you actually can go over 40 minutes and they don't cut you off. Right. So that's kind of a nice thing. And then, but how you could make it with it's like really what you're doing right now with people, you just basically can, and if you want, you could just, push out a meeting request or, send out a meeting that you want to, whatever the topic is. And then you just basically, connect through Zoom. I mean, and Zoom is like super easy to use. And I'm telling you, you're the best place to go to learn is YouTube. YouTube will teach you how to do anything. So, but Zoom is super easy to navigate. And, again, it's free, so you don't have to sign up for any type of membership or, annual or monthly service. So, I mean, it really is a good way to meet people. I mean, I've done it through, and you could actually use Google Hangouts. So if you don't want to use Zoom and you have a Google account, use Google Hangouts is another option for you to use. And that is really easy. Same like layout as Zoom. But again, if you have Google, it's free and it allows you to do the same thing, presentation, slides. So hopefully that helps.
I have a question because everybody tells me everything in technology is easy and it's not for old dogs like myself. Where would you recommend YouTube or what to learn more about how to navigate the technology, Amy?
YouTube.
YouTube?
I'm telling you, truly, and because YouTube and Google are, same company,
Right.
you could go into Google and just type in whatever your question is. And then you could say YouTube and then question. And then boom, they'll all pop up. You had all these videos and then just start clicking through. And then what I'll do is I'll base it on how long it is. It's like, okay, how much time do I have? And then I'll look at a shorter one and then sometime then you'll see people that you like, depending on what the topic is. But yeah, YouTube, I'm telling you, YouTube is definitely the channel that you should use to learn anything. And I would say you should really look at having your own YouTube channel and start putting things on there content-wise. Because that is a great way for you. Because again, people are doing exactly what I just said. So someone else is going to look at and going, how to buy, buying a house in Volusia or whatever. If you can provide tips, it's all about providing value. So what do you know that you can share on YouTube and put it on your channel?
Okay. Another question. Could you please talk more about the monthly and weekly accountability?
Okay. So what happens on the weekly accountability call is that, so what I did is I went to Google Docs and I created a form. So I created a form and it just, how do you rate the week? And what are the 3 things you accomplished, and then what are the things that you didn't accomplish, why, what struggles did you have? What are you going to accomplish this week? Do you need help in how are you going to accomplish it, or what type of help that you might need? What key insights did you learn in this last week? So it's a really like a easy format Google Doc that, it was between me and my partner, the accountability partner. And then every week we would fill it out, and then it would have to be filled out before, because I always do my calls on Mondays. So Monday morning, 8:30, we would make sure the form's filled out, because then what happens from Google Docs to that form, it'll save to like a Google spreadsheet. So then you could go to the spreadsheet and then look at the spreadsheet, and then you see your answers, both your answers, you and your accountability partner's answers, and then you just review it. And so now we have like our whole year that we could actually look at everything we put down and just kind of like to see what progress we made, and where we, so it was really a really cool guide and a resource for you to utilize, again, free on Google, that you can review. So I would do that with my weekly person. And then my monthly one, again, we basically took our plans, and then every month we would check and highlight the key things that we did and we accomplished. And then what I would do is I would utilize my weekly review, kind of take that content, look at and again, honestly, I always looked at my monthly plan. So this was my plan, and I always looked at it. I always needed to make sure, okay, I'm on track. And then then we'd have this call, we talk, she'd tell me her accomplishments, we talk it through, and then that was it. So it's honestly, it's really just utilizing this tool that once you put your plan together, you've got to look at it. Like, you can't put it together and then it's in your docs, in your PowerPoint or your Word docs, and then you never look at it again. It's like, you gotta write on it and adjust it, you know, and make the adjustments to it. That's what I would do.
Good. Those are all the questions that I have that were submitted. Unless somebody else has.
We might have some others, questions on planning for the year, planting for the year. I like that too, as a hybridizer.
Yes, that's right.
And also just any just getting to the weeds here of, you know, how do you make it specific? How do you make it time bound? How do you make it measurable, et cetera? Do people have questions on making it smart this year?
I do.
Go for it.
So measurable. I struggle with that. Can you give me some examples of a measurable goal?
Well, it's not, it's how you, so I'm going to go back to share screen. So hopefully this thing's going to work. Because I want to go back to the slide that, let's see, so let's go back here. So, you see it, my tactic slide? Okay. All right. So in the example of, you know, wanting to do these, complete the transactions in, you know, by the end of the year. So you know, you're going to, from a tactic perspective, what are you going to do to make it? So what's it measurable? So I'm going to make, you know, the first one, 60 minutes a day and call 6 people, 6 FSBOs, and, you know, doing it 5 days a week to secure a minimum of 1 appointment, you know, and so for a total of 4 appointments per month. So the measure is 4 appointments a month. Did you get 4 appointments in a month? Right. So it's like, that's how are you measuring your success? The door knocking, you went to 50 doors and to secure a minimum of 2 appointments in a month. Did you go to 50 doors and did you get 2 appointments? Right. And then the marketing again. So the goal is you want, you know, maybe 12,000 emails if you do 1,000 per month. So at the end of the year, did you get 12,000 or did you get, you know, 50,000? It's like, wow, you overachieved your goal, which is awesome. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And my other follow-up question to that is how you were talking about your the Google Doc that you did with your accountability partner, how you rated yourself and so forth. So that's what you would use on that Google Doc of how to rate yourself. These are the questions right here.
Yeah, well, yeah. So so based on what you decided to do for that week that you were going to focus on for the week, then you would, on that Google Doc, you say, you know, if your goal that week was to, you know, do the 6 calls a day, you contact your FSBOs, and then then for the call, you would say, well, did you block 60 minutes a day? Did you do? Yes, I did this. So that, yes, I was successful and I completed my task for the week.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense on the measurability as well as the accountability for how you rated yourself. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Amy, what's the difference in just being accountable to yourself and being accountable to a partner? What's that difference for you?
Oh, huge. I would say, again, because you are, you're speaking it, you know, so you're sharing with somebody, I'm going to do this. And as opposed to just saying in your head, you're going to do it. It makes me like, do it, because now because I have to report to this person next week and they're going to, you know, did you do it? and I don't want to say no, you know, I want to say, yes, I did it. And then it's like, I don't want to make an excuse, but sometimes, you know, I had to. And then what happened was when I was starting to make excuses like every week, it didn't make me feel good. You know, so it's integrity. It's all about integrity, you know. So that would be the reason accountability partners are so important, is to help keep you on track.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're both assertive with yourself with that, as well as kind of being assertive with each other to say, Amy, it looks like you're making a lot of mistakes or excuses now.
Yeah, well, and I think it was more so, and the good news is, I mean, and for me, the accountability partner was more just there kind of to listen and kind of guide, and that they weren't really there to judge. It was more me. Like, I was tired of giving the excuse of every week. It's like, okay, I'm just tired. I don't want to have to call again and give another excuse, as opposed to saying, and which as well, then make your task for the week, the goal for the week, realistic. So again, were my goals unrealistic? And that's why I couldn't achieve it. So again, making sure it's smart every time that you are doing it will help.
Yeah, good. Rhonda, do we have any more questions in, or does anybody have any other questions here?
No. How did we find your accountability partner?
How, well, I found my first one through PAC. So that was my first accountability partner. And then my second one actually was someone, longtime friend that I've known her, since we were in high school. But we were entrepreneurs, and she's in a totally different line of business. She lives in California. And it was just a way I was like, I think it would be good for us to connect. And it was a way for us to connect, but keep each other on track, being entrepreneurs. So, and I would say though, too, it's about, about being someone who's like-minded, of being kind of the same mindset. And they don't necessarily have to be friends, because they're, it's someone that is really on the same path of wanting to accomplish, as opposed to talk and moan and complain, or get distracted and talk about things off topic. It's like, stay. And then the call was only a half hour. So I made it very measurable. Like, okay, we're not going to talk about over a half hour, and we're going to talk about these things. Otherwise you're wasting time.
Did you have an agenda when you said, like, you're going to talk about specific things? Because I've had accountability partners, and some have been very, very good, and we stayed on target. And others that I've had, we get more into the social realm, and it's not about business, and then you don't get down to the nitty gritty. Did you run into any of that, or?
Well, if it would start to get off topic, it was really more about the time. So, and
Right.
then and again, using that, the form, the accountability
Yes.
form.
Yeah.
So that, so it's like, okay, you go first. So then they would have to go through and answer all the questions in each section. And then we talk about it at the end. And then, so it's like with 30 minutes, then, it's like 15 minutes for one person, 15 minutes for another. That's the goal. So if you're going over 15 minutes, then, it's like, okay,
Right.
and then the goal is just to stay on
Target.
and use that plan. Look at the spreadsheet and answer the questions, so then that keeps you focused on what you're supposed to talk about. And I guess too, come to an agreement at the beginning. Okay, let's agree. It's 30 minutes. We're going to review the plan, and right. So if you guys both agree to that, then you have, referring back to, it's like, okay, great. It's nice to chit chat at the beginning, but some mornings you just gotta I gotta go, and nothing personal, because
Right.
again, it's not about chit chat. It's about,
Right.
I need to accomplish my goals, and that's why we're accountability partners.
I have another question to follow up on Ron's. So what would be your opinion about, you said an accountability partner has to be like-minded, but do you recommend that they be family members? What's your opinion on that?
No. That's my opinion. I say that it's Yeah, family and business are things you don't really mix. That I'm just saying, I would never recommend it be a family member because there's being objective. There's a lot of emotion that's connected. Again, based on experience, I would, really look at it being, again, someone that is on the same path of whether maybe it's in real estate or maybe you have a similar, and again, it's about having conversations with people. So, and it's about you building relationships with that person. So, and even within this group, maybe you might think of someone that you can just reach out to, and say, hey, would you be interested? And then again, you need to be at the same the same mindset of like, what your goals are, what you want to accomplish. Do you have compatibility in speaking to that other person and going from there? But I think I answered your question in like 2 minutes ago with no.
I have two more questions for you. Have your goals for this year changed much or at all as a result of COVID?
You mean the goals I accomplished last year or my new goals this year?
The goals that you made for this year?
Oh, well, no, the ones I made this year are more just kind of adding to, and honestly, so just even to go back to last year, I had an amazing year. I was busy like the whole time. Like after March, I was slammed. I mean, which is why it was just a great year. And I adjusted. I made some adjustments to my plan, but overall, I accomplished pretty much everything on what I put, and in different ways. Like some things adjusted. Like for example, the thing about what I put on my plan was I wanted to increase my social media presence. So I wanted to learn more about YouTube, and I wanted to have more presence on Facebook. Well, then COVID happened, and then I ended up finding, searching online for trying to, be better, video presence. And then this whole thing, I found called Ecamm, which is why, like, when you see me on camera, my whole camera setup and my lighting and everything I have, I took a class. I took up this online class and got set up, and I met this whole new different group of people, and then I learned about YouTube and how to set up a channel, and so then it's like, okay, I ticked it off. Like that wasn't the path I was originally going to take and how to learn, but that's what I ended up. I was like, okay, I still learned, so I checked it off. So I made slight adjustments to it, but to my plan in this next year. Now it's more just enhancing and adding to it, probably doing more. And for me, again, one of my main things last year was all about credibility. I wanted to gain credibility in the space of real estate because I went from, another industry into this one. I had like hardly any transactions. So I was like, okay, I got to really focus on getting transactions, and I got to focus on really understanding the market and really, feeling comfortable in what I'm talking and doing. So it was about volume. I really wanted to focus on volume because once I did that, then it's like, then I learned, and adjust every single transaction. And then here I am. I mean, it totally paid off. I'm telling you, like by just doing that and knowing that was my goal, I accomplished it. So now I can move forward, and that I'm really focusing a lot on doing a lot more listings, and really focusing in on, what I could provide and the value I could bring. And again, based on the history and the success that I had in this last year. So
I want to talk a little bit about time management on a day-to-day basis, like when leads come in or closings start going wrong or tenants calling. How do you handle all that time management, or what suggestions do you have?
Yeah, well, basically, so there's there's the time management with regards to doing certain tasks like time blocking for doing, calling people. So it's really trying to stay on task there. But then for example, when the leads were coming in, or when I'm getting a lot of multiple transactions or closings that are happening like in the same month, then what I would do is that I started to reach out to people one of my other goals was to find, like-minded agents that I could go to, to help me, so if there were times where I needed help or I was going to help them, how we could reciprocate and help each other. So when I needed help, I'd reach out to an agent, and, then I was able to have them help me out to do certain tasks that like I couldn't do. And so that's, what helped me there, and just to utilize the resources that I had, internally. And then honestly, it was a challenge because leads were coming in and I couldn't manage them. And I was like, and then, so that part was frustrating. And I just was like, okay, so this year I wanted to increase the number of, agents that I wanted to refer business to, build those partnerships. So then when they came in, I could at least, send them off. So there were things that I learned that I took, and then I'm incorporating it into my plan this year. Hopefully that made sense. It was
Yes,
basically like being a manager, and just to have other people do the task where I
and
could.
see, that was me with doing marketing, because I got so caught up, and I was spending all this time trying to get lists and all that to market. And so I really JV'd with somebody, and so gave them a lot of that. The things that I'm good at, I want to hold on thing. The things that I struggle with, I still want to be educated and know, but I don't have to do it. And when I started, I felt like I had to do everything. And I know there are some days things just happen. It's life. And you know exactly what you're going to do that day, but then you go in and something else and everything goes out the window because you have to deal with emergencies.
Right. And I think though too, another thing again, it's prioritizing your task. So are the tasks, again, is it related to the plan? So are you doing stuff that's not part of the plan, that's taking up your time? Right.
Yes.
So if it's not making money, helping you make money, then, you've got to prioritize, then that's a way to kind of determine what you decide to do or not do, or pay someone else to do, or delegate. That's definitely things that I had to do, and that by investing the money. So then you got to look, okay, if I'm going to have someone else do the leads, is that going to help me make money? The goal is like, is this still going to help me make money? Okay. So then that will help you decide what to again, delegate out or hire someone else to do.
Okay.
Good one. I think that's the last one on there, Ron.
Yes.
Amy, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Great.
Hopefully you guys found a value to it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yes.
if there's ever anything I can do to help you guys, any listings for your properties that you're gonna flip and you need to sell, or I'm your gal. So
Right.
I know Richard's on the call too, but I'm the other gal, I guess. I'm the gal and he's the guy. How's that?
There you go. And there's several on here. Just real quick as we wrap up tonight, is there a nugget you took from Amy tonight? We may not have talked about it. Just as many as want to unmute, and just what's a nugget that you took from this presentation tonight? One nugget.
The budget's in October. That's huge.
Okay. Masood? Say again.
Having the daily schedule of what you want to accomplish, I think that was huge.
For Alicia there, the daily schedule of what you want to. Good. Anybody else a nugget tonight?
My big one was the check-ins, the monthly reviews, the quarterly, the 6 month. I do part of that, but it's not consistent, and I don't have a good timeline on my schedule or on my calendar.
Okay.
And so that to me was really huge, and I like the way you did that, Amy.
Good. Anybody else? Just a nugget you got for tonight as we get ready to wrap up.
Harlan, I think the big one is accountability. I think that is so important. because so often, we go through things in our mind, what we want to do and what we're going to accomplish. But until you actually write it down or actually say it, and then even better yet, you have a partner that you've actually committed this to, that you're going to do this. And like Amy said, I mean, sometimes you have to kind of fudge a little bit because you didn't get done what you wanted to do because you didn't want to embarrass yourself. But the fact that you do have accountability, I think that's huge, having an accountability part. And I certainly appreciate you sharing that with us tonight, Amy. You did an excellent job on this presentation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, John.
Yep. And Amy, thank you for making the time for us. I know there's a lot going on in your family right now, and there's something that's happening today in your family, isn't there?
Yes, that's right. So sorry. Okay, so because I have a slide, I'm sorry, I got to show you. My mother, she is today, if you can believe it's so incredibly awesome. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yes. So my mom turned 90 years old today.
Yes.
1931. Yes, yes. So she's an amazing lady, Tomiko. That's me and my son Alex, her grandson. But yeah, she's just amazing. And unfortunately, she's in California, COVID. So we weren't able to go out there because of the restrictions. But just so blessed to have her, as my mom. She's my hero. She's just my role model. And that the smile on her face, she's like total joy. That's like that woman. I'm telling you, she went through so much, World War II, so much stuff. And she's still she is an amazing, amazing woman. So, hug your moms, and whether it's in memory or, physically, because, my goal, again, I want to be a centenarian, and being from Okinawa, we're the blue zone people. So some of the longest living people are from Okinawa. So if she's 90, it's like, okay, 10 more years on top of that, I can do that. So she's giving me hope. I'm going to achieve this goal.
Yeah, well, share a big happy birthday from all of us that are on the call tonight to your mom tonight. 90 is
I will.
wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks again. We got two things coming up. One is on the 16th, Saturday the 16th, we'll do a repair estimate. We do it by Zoom these days. We can't actually go to the house physically, so we do it by Zoom these days, and we'll look forward to that. Diane, you have any other information on that tonight?
We have not set our speaker yet, so if someone has a project that they would like to do for this one on the 16th, Ron, you're raising your hand.
Call me,
There's somebody
please.
else who has a project too that we want to get in here pretty soon.
So we'll look at.
I don't know if I should mention his name.
Yep, we'll vet
I have
some.
no idea who that is.
Yep.
We're all looking
have something out there.
We're all looking at you.
John.
John has one out there as well. Yep. So there might be some others, and we love to move these around and see different ones,
Mhm.
learn from different people on these. So on the 16th, we'll get that information out here soon. And
Right. And your project doesn't have to be finished.
No.
Sometimes it's a work in progress, and we learn as much from that as we do from the finished project. So
yeah,
and sometimes if
how we
the
came to it,
things are not going well, we learn more from that than if they've all gone well. Right.
That's right. We've had some from
Amen.
yeah that are really pretty bad out there. Yeah. But Masood, maybe you'll consider it. I see Ron does, and John has one. Maybe somebody else does as well. Also on the 1st of February, the first Monday in February is February 1st, and we've got a good program lined up there, and we'll get that word out to you unless somebody knows exactly what it is already tonight. So the team will pull that together. We'll get a program coming together in February 1st coming out here. So thank you tonight. Continue to have a wonderful new year. It keeps moving on. We're already to the 4th. Tomorrow's the 5th. Pretty soon the first week will be done. And as Amy reminded us tonight, make sure you have that plan in your hand there so you can track it week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter through the year. Write yourself that letter to yourself on December 31st, when you open it up, that says, here's what I accomplished this year. Go ahead and write that down now. Get that one year, whatever that word is that's going to guide you. Find an accountability partner. Make this year happen, because there are people out there that need you to do what you're going to do. Other people can't do it as well as you can, and won't do it with as much integrity as you have. So go out there and provide that service to our community that each of you provide. Thanks for being on tonight. Anybody else have anything before we get off?
Thank you all. I'll be calling some of you about the repair estimate meeting.
Very good.
Okay, Diane.
Good to see everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks
Good
for
night.
being
Thanks,
on.
Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Foster,
Be
it's
good.
good to see
Thanks,
you.
Claudette.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Amy.
See you.
Bye.